Hi peeps, welcome to part 2 of my miscarriage story and just my grieving process and everything that I did. Part 1 was all about the story of like the events that kind of led up to my miscarriage and then the miscarriage itself, and we finished off with all of that, and now I'm just going to talk about, I guess, my process after losing my baby and the grieving process and how it's been so far. I'm only a month post miscarriage, and so I know that there's a lot more healing to be done and a lot more grieving and processing. I thought that I would share my thoughts on this first month, and hopefully if you're going through something similar at this time, first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss and just for the sorrow and devastation that this brings. But I hope that this video can help you in some way, and that as people we can like come together and encourage each other. Oh Jesus, please help me. So following my miscarriage, let's start the day after. The day after was super slow day. Well, the many days after were very super slow days of just resting, but that first day after we didn't really have much on, obviously, but we did want to go and do a little burial for our baby. We live on a rural property, so we're really blessed to be able to just go seek out a nice little spot and bury something there. Basically, through all the actual miscarriage, I was not feeling super emotional, and even the morning after I just felt super I think I was just so relieved that I was not in pain anymore. I wasn't even to the point of grieving because I was just so glad that I was not in the pain that I was the evening before. I definitely wasn't distraught and beside myself at that stage. When I started putting together the little box of things for our baby, which we have named Ren, I think that's when it really started to dawn on me, like the reality of what had happened, and it started to kind of go from like here to here. Miscarriage and losing a child is such a massive thing, and it's just crazy how your life can change in an instant from that scan or from not hearing a heartbeat. And I think it can actually take quite a while for us as humans to adjust to that change and to actually realize what has happened and what has taken place. So as I was putting together this little box for Ren, it really started to hit me like, whoa, this is for my baby and we're gonna have to bury this, and that's because our baby has died. So we kept a piece of the pregnancy tissue to bury, just so we could have something from the pregnancy to bury. We didn't manage to have our teeny baby to bury, but we saved that instead. I cut up some fabric to wrap that up in, to put in the box, and I just remember everything was so cold, and it really, I guess, dawned on me that we're never going to have any physical like baby here on earth, and the physical part of our baby is all cold and gone now, and even though our baby is in heaven with Jesus, we will not get to have our baby with us here on earth. I think just the reality of death as well, because you don't have a body per se, like there's a teeny body, but you don't see a whole person as you would if someone grown dies. You just have all this kind of stuff happening during the miscarriage, and then you know that they're gone, but there's nothing physical to kind of see, to be like, oh, there they are and they're not there. So I think having that piece of the pregnancy helped me to be like, okay, this is not alive and it's not inside me anymore, and we're gonna have to bury this, and that's because it's gone. That's when I started getting really sad. I think I called Tian because he was off somewhere at this point when I started putting the box together. So I called him and he came back. We wrapped that up together and put it in the box, and then I also ripped out my song lyrics of my book that I wrote. I think it was the first song that I wrote about Ren, and that song's just always been quite special to me. You can actually listen to it on Spotify. It's called It's You. so I put that in the box, and then I also took the first pregnancy test that we'd done that evening of the wedding, and I put that in the box as well. That was also quite tough for me, because it was like, this pregnancy's gone and we're going to be bearing this positive pregnancy test, and we no longer have a positive pregnancy test. Like, it's now a negative one. So we went and we buried that. Tian dug a hole and we got to actually putting the box in there, and it was just so sad and like hard to let go, and to know that I would never be able to see that box again, and never be able to like hold it and hold like any part of the pregnancy anymore, because it was going to go into the ground and we're going to bury it. It was just a really sad moment, and I just wanted to keep delaying it and just like hold on to that for longer and be like, wait, let's just stand here by the grave and just not bury it. But we needed to, so Tian put the box in the hole, and I put buried it. We covered it up together, and then I had made a list, just tied 2 sticks together as a little cross, and so I put that in the ground. And Tian got a big rock and put it over top of the grave. So we did that, and we just stood there, and just a really, really sad moment of, I remember just thinking like, oh, I've just buried my child, like we're standing at the grave of our baby. And it was so hard to, like, I didn't want to walk away from that moment and from the grave. Like, I didn't want to leave that there. But after like a good hug with Tian, we like just held hands and walked down together. Oh, it was like, we came back to the house and I was really sad, and Tian's parents were there, and we just gave them hugs, and had like support from family. I didn't know if I was gonna get emotional or not. Every time I like relive it, it's like brings it all back. Following days, I think, were just really a good time to rest, but very sad. I slowly started to grieve everything as I processed it. Just like things like, I'll never get to feed my baby, like breastfeed my baby. Our baby's never gonna wear those clothes that we bought for him or her. All of the would have beens, and I just started really grieving that. I'm continuing to find such an honesty with God in all of this and in my grief. Like, God has been so real with me, and I think he's been teaching me how to be really real with him. I guess he's been teaching me to bring the ugly stuff and to bring my ugly feelings and the hard stuff to him. Like, he's not afraid of my tears or my anger or my grief. Even when it feels so like overwhelming, he's never overwhelmed by it. I think it's been healing, even just being able to grieve completely, to cry without like holding back or trying to like hold it together, to just like completely fall apart. I think it's been such an important part of my journey, just feeling the freedom to do that and not feeling like I have to pull it together. Grief is so interesting these days following baby Ren. I found that the first week was actually easier than the following couple weeks. Like, the first week you have so much support as well from people, and I just remember feeling like, I'm doing okay, like I'm doing good. I would have times, especially in the evenings, where I would really fall apart. I remember thinking, oh, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. And I was messaging a friend who also has had a miscarriage, and I specifically was messaging her because of that, because I wanted words of wisdom from someone who'd been through it. And I remember her saying, like, even though it might feel like it's never going to end, it will. And I just remember thinking, it doesn't feel like the end of the world. But I actually found that came later, and then I thought back on what she'd said, and I thought, oh, I get it now, even though initially I wasn't feeling that level of despair. Often I'll have like whole days where I just feel so good and so myself, so positive, life's good. Next day I'll just feel like my whole life's not worth living and there's nothing good in my life and that everything is gone and I'm just distraught. So I think that's the thing about grief. It doesn't kind of come, you sort it out and it leaves. It really is like the waves of the ocean. I think it's something that will continue for many months. For me, like, it might come and visit me less frequently, but I think that it will definitely be a part of life for quite a while. Like, the sorrow of losing this baby, I don't even know if it's ever meant to leave, you know? I just think that it will soften and possibly turn to something more and more beautiful as the days pass. I remember I had this thought at one point during this process. I was writing a song, and in the song I came up with a line that was something about letting go. And at first I wrote letting you go to my baby, and then I thought, I'm not going to sing that because I don't actually think I have to let Ren go. I think I can let it go. I can let the pain go and the despair go and all of that go. I know that I have to let go of the fact that I'm not going to have Ren here with me on earth, but I think I'll always have her or him. Like, I think I'll always have Ren with me in my heart, you know? Like, I'll always carry that relationship and that love with me, and it won't ever go away, and I won't ever let go of that. Something I found really interesting is just the different ways that we as humans need to grieve. Sometimes I would be wailing. Sometimes I would be, you know, when it's like ugly crying. And then there was this one day when I was actually annoyed about something else, and then Tian came home, and often what happens, especially around grief and this whole miscarriage season, is that I'll kind of semi-hold it together, and then when Tian comes home, I'm like, he's my safe place, and then I just completely fall apart and not functional human at all, which is really probably hard for him, but he's been amazing. And so one day he came home, and I was just really annoyed about this other thing, and really upset as well at the same time about Ren. So he was giving me hugs, but I was really, really struggling with this anger, like, inside, and it was so intense. I didn't know what to do with myself. Like, I felt awful and so sad about Ren, and at the same time I had this, like, anger that was burning inside of me, and no matter how much I cried in Tian's arms, it didn't go away, and nothing really changed. So eventually he needed to move on with the day, and so he was trying to find a solution, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk, you go. I didn't say it that calmly. You go do whatever. So I walked off into the forest, which is where Ren's grave is, and I thought, I'm gonna go to Ren's grave. So I went up there, and I think as I was walking I realised I wasn't angry about that other thing anymore. I was more just angry about losing my baby. I was so, like, I don't know if I've ever been this angry. I was, like, just fuming, like, inside, and I stomped up into the forest, and I picked up this rock off of the stone wall, because I remember when we buried Ren, or I think it was when we buried Ren, I was like, let's just take a rock off the wall to put on top of her grave, and Tian was like, no, that's someone's hard work, like, I'll go find us a rock. Anyway, so I picked this rock up off the wall, and I'm like, I'm taking this rock, and I walked up to the top, and there's this massive rock, like a big boulder, and I climbed up on top of that, and I started throwing rocks as hard as I could, and as far as I could, and that didn't really do it for me, so I climbed back down. I think I was talking to God the whole time. I was telling him how angry I was, and I think I was probably saying how I was angry at God, I was angry at everything, that I couldn't have my baby, and I was like, I don't understand why I can't have Ren, and I'm so angry right now. And I found this tree, and I ripped all the branches off this tree. I was so mad, I just started, like, ripping these branches off. And then after I ripped all of them off, I think God was like, okay, have you processed this anger? and I kind of felt like, okay, I think I'm done with ripping branches off trees. And I was just so distraught at the same time. I was so angry and so distraught. And so I lay down and put my head on Ren's gravestone, and I just lay there and like sobbed very hard, like in such a deep like pain kind of way. So I lay there on the ground sobbing for I don't know how long, and just talking to God. It's just so interesting how we as humans have to process in whatever way to get kind of through those emotions and to understand what has happened. And obviously for me that was necessary. Yeah, I would just completely let myself unravel, I suppose, like emotionally and just in the grieving process. I haven't really held anything back. And I think that's what has helped me move forward, because instead of holding on to all these emotions, I've just let them flow right through me and out in whatever way needed, whether that's like crying, wailing, moaning, screaming, laying on the ground, ripping things off trees. Whatever way it has to come out, I've just let it come out. And I haven't tried to like hold on to it and sort it out myself, and I just don't think that would have worked for me. God has been so present every single moment of this journey. He has been so faithful and has upheld me in some of my darkest moments. Maybe now we'll go deeper, sadder, and then we'll end on some more positive stuff. I just wanted to be real and say that this is such a hard journey. If you're walking it, like, give yourself grace, because this is a very, very hard and taxing time, not just emotionally, spiritually, but also physically, just recovering from, it's almost like it is like a traumatic event. I think definitely what I'm coming to the conclusion about is that grieving my miscarriage is not like this. It's not like start here, slowly get better. It's definitely like all over the place. Because sometimes I feel like, oh, I think I'm moving on, I'm getting better. For instance, I felt like that, and then I really just dipped to the point where it was like suicidal thoughts and wondering what I'm doing here on earth. And what is the point of my life? And I just, like, even it's very much like the book of Job, right? Like, just thinking how much I hate my life, and I hate existing because everything is so painful and it doesn't feel like there's anything positive. But I just want to say, if those sort of thoughts are entering your mind like they did for me, there is more than this horrible feeling inside of you, and there's more than the thoughts, and there's more than this overwhelming sense of despair which is within you sometimes. Like, there's going to be better days. You're going to wake up and have a wonderful day one day. You won't feel like that forever. And that's what I kind of held on to, is that there's more outside of myself, and there's something higher and better than what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And I had to keep thinking that, because sometimes, no matter how many places I tried to find comfort, even when I tried to find comfort in God, I still just felt so heavy and so like hopeless. And so that's like the times when I had to say, well, you know what? I am feeling completely hopeless and destitute right now. It's okay. And I'm just going to go to sleep, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and I'm going to carry on and take whatever that next day brings. And that next day might bring a beautiful sunrise. It might bring relief, and it might bring, like, I think that's what I've had to realize, is that I have to carry on even if I can't find the end of a breakdown. Even if there's no, oh, I felt really awful, but now God helped me and I feel this. Even if I don't get that, I can still carry on and trust Him. Like, even if I have a breakdown, I feel like there's nothing to live for, and I just keep feeling like that, I can still trust that there is more for me, even if I don't feel it. I hope that you can be encouraged by this. This is a really hard time, and maybe I'm gonna have to do a part 3. I can't believe how long this is getting. Guys, I think I'm gonna do a part 3, because this is already like half an hour on my phone. Thank you so much for being here and for watching and listening, even though this is like such a hard conversation to have. I pray that you can find healing in whatever way God has for you, and that you can keep moving through these feelings and through the grief, and just let the grief like wash over you and let the feelings flow out in whatever way they need to. Like, God is going to show you the way, and He is our comfort and our strength, even when we don't feel it. I just really hope that this has brought you hope and encouragement, and that you know there is more than today for us. I'm going to make another video talking all about what really helped me, physical things that helped me process, so you can head to, I guess, part 3. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being brave enough to listen and I guess ponder these things. God has so much in store for you. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. See ya.
I used to long for that place like I longed to make